All right, let's talk about something that's a real headache for anyone who works with data. You've got two different data sets. They're messy, they're inconsistent, and trying to get them to line up feels, well, impossible sometimes. In this explainer, we're diving into a really clever tool designed to solve this exact problem, the fuzzy lookup in SSIS. So, have you ever been in this situation? You're looking at two lists, and, you just know that John Smith in one list is the same person as Jonathan Smith in the other. But to your computer, they're complete strangers. And that tiny difference is one of the most common frustrations in the world of data. And this, right here, this gets to the very heart of it. A person looks at this and immediately sees the same name. It's obvious, right? But a computer that's programmed to look for a perfect letter-for-letter match, it just sees two totally different entries. And this is where so many data projects just grind to a halt. Okay, so let's ground this in a real-world scenario from our source material. Picture a company that's trying to bring together data from two totally separate systems. You've got a production system and an HR system. They were probably built years apart by different people, and they definitely don't have a nice, clean ID to link employees together. So, what's the one piece of information they have in common? The employee's name. That's it. And their challenge is to match 150 workers across these two systems, but of course, the names aren't always typed in the exact same way. This is the core of their problem. So they give it a shot with a standard matching tool. And look at these results. Out of 150 workers, they successfully matched 125. Not bad, but that leaves 25 people completely unmatched. That is a huge chunk of missing data, all because of tiny little inconsistencies. And this leads us to the tool that most people would naturally reach for first, and more importantly, why it just isn't always up to the job. Let's take a closer look at the standard approach and see where it falls short. So in SQL Server Integration Services, or SSIS, the go-to tool for this job is the standard lookup transformation. It's a workhorse, it's incredibly fast, it's efficient, but it lives by one very, very strict rule. It will only find matches that are a perfect 100% identical. There is zero room for close enough. So why did those 25 workers get left behind? Well, as the source article points out, it wasn't because they were different people. It was because of all the messy human stuff. Minor spelling differences, an accidental extra space, a simple typo. To the standard lookup, these little imperfections aren't minor. They're deal breakers. So, if the standard tool can't handle the messiness of real-world data, what can? Well, this is where the hero of our explainer comes into play. It's called the fuzzy lookup transformation. And here's the difference in a nutshell. The standard lookup is rigid. It demands clean data, it looks for an exact match, and it gives you a simple yes or no. The fuzzy lookup, on the other hand, is flexible. It's built for messy data, it looks for approximate matches, and it gives you something way more useful, a confidence score. And that really gets to its core purpose. As the source material puts it, this isn't just a matching tool. It's a sophisticated method for actually cleaning data. It's designed to find the real signal hiding in all that noise. Now, the word fuzzy might sound a little random, maybe a bit unpredictable, but the great thing about this tool is that you are in complete control. You get to define exactly how fuzzy you want the matching to be. The main control you have is the similarity threshold. Just think of it like a dial you can turn from 0 to 1. If you crank it all the way to 1.0, you're demanding a perfect match. But the source suggests a good starting point is around 0.80. That's basically you telling the tool, hey, I'm looking for things that are at least 80% similar. And here's what it gives you back. Two really powerful scores. The similarity score is pretty straightforward. It answers how similar are these two strings of text. But the confidence score, that one goes deeper. It answers the question, how certain are we that this is the absolute best possible match in the entire dataset? This is where you turn those scores into real action. Using another SSIS tool called a conditional split, you can create your own business rules. So, for example, if the confidence is really high, say over 0.5, you can automatically accept it as a good match. If it's in a middle range, you can flag it for a human to review, and if it's really low, you can just automatically reject it. You get to define what these levels mean. Okay, so this fuzzy lookup is clearly powerful, but it's also more resource intensive. It has to work a lot harder than a standard lookup. So this brings us to the pro-level strategy, using these tools together to get maximum efficiency. The source makes a really critical point here.
Because the fuzzy lookup has to do so much more work, you don't want to run your entire dataset through it if you don't have to. The key is to use it surgically, only on the data that actually needs that extra brain power.
And this table shows you the perfect workflow. First, you run everything through this super fast standard lookup. Let it catch all the easy, perfect matches, like those first 125 workers. Second, you take only the rejects from that first step and send them to the fuzzy lookup. Finally, you just bring the clean results from both streams back together. It's a really simple but powerful idea, isn't it? Let the fast tool do the easy work, and save the smart tool for the truly hard problems. This way, you get the best of both worlds, speed and accuracy. Before we wrap up, the source gives a few excellent best practices. To make your matches more accurate, don't just use one column, like a name. Add another one, like a city or department. Also, choose columns that have a lot of variety. Trying to match on a column where every answer is USA isn't going to help much. And here's a weird but important one to remember. A fuzzy match actually considers 2 nulls or 2 empty fields to be a perfect match. So make sure you clean those out first if that's not what you want. Ultimately, what a tool like Fuzzy Lookup lets you do is completely transform your data. What started out as messy, unreliable information, a liability that could lead to bad decisions, becomes a clean, integrated, and truly valuable asset that you can actually trust for your analysis. And that really leaves us with a final thought. The next time you see a list of unmatched records, don't just see them as errors. Ask yourself how much hidden value is locked away in that data, just waiting for a smarter approach to come along and unlock it. Thanks for joining this explainer.